All right, what's up? Welcome to the Alex Olinger podcast. Let's try that one more time. Welcome to the Alex Olinger podcast. I'm here with my cat. We're chilling at the house and we're really feeling ourselves right now, you know. I got the cats running around. He actually has been scratching and biting my shoes and that's got to stop. I'm not a fan of that. He's got one of those. The cat has one of those. What's it like? The belly sacks. You know, like the Six Flags look. That's what my cat has on his belly. You know what I mean? He's sagging a little bit. I heard it's called the primordial pouch. Whatever. I guess it's where they store their fat for the winter. However, he's indoors and there's no winter in here. He's just walking around with a fat belly right now. Well, a saggy belly, you know, kind of like tits or something, like old tits. What? How's my cat's belly look? Like old tits. Old tits. How his belly looks. All right. What's been up with me? What's been up this week? You know, I took a nap today. That's what's been up. I'm chilling. I'm working off a real good, long, tiring weekend. I saw Billy Strings last night at the Moody Center. Billy Strings and his band, and that was fucking incredible. It was an amazing show. I had a blast. We got hooked up with good tickets from my girlfriend's sister who works over at the mothership. Apparently, they just had like a seats in one of the rows in the middle of the upper deck reserved. So we got to scoot over there, and then nobody sat on our row, so we could just slide back and forth. It really is a curse I have, is going to concerts and having really the biggest, and it's not just because I'm short, which I am, and so is the cat. My cat is short as well. It's not just because I'm short, so this couldn't happen to anybody. You know, you think I'd see anybody and say this was a problem, but really like a 6'6" two giant dudes with somewhat model looking girlfriends who are equally as tall just stood right in front of me and my girlfriend, I'm like 5'6", about 5'5", you know, and she's shorter than me. My girlfriend might be 5 foot. They just stood in front of us, but we got to see it. There's not actually, the Moody Center is nice because there's not actually like a bad seat in the house there. You know, like on the pictures, they use that weird iPhone filter where it bends reality and space and time and makes everything look like a panorama, and they try to make the place look gigantic. But it's really not that big. I mean, you could see the stage, see the whole band. You know what I mean? And you could see like some of the features on Billy's face. It wasn't like he was like that far away. You know, I've heard some people exaggerate how far away it is for comedic effect, and that's not true. So I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to be honest with you all and, you know, do that number. I'm just going to tell you that it was pretty close, and the show was amazing. This band is absolutely incredible. I mean, that guy can really play guitar, and it was cool to see, you know, it was cool to see really, like actual, and I don't even mean to be this guy, but kind of a niche musical genre, which is bluegrass, which has not been popular really ever, I don't think. You know, in the music world, people know like Doc Watson and some of those old school country guys, and they might have had, I wasn't around for this, so they might have had their heyday. You know, Woody Guthrie with the folk thing. I know the folk music festival back in the 60s that like Bob Dylan would go to would host all those guys, but like I don't really see bluegrass as being really popular or anything more than like something that like, to me bluegrass was in, yeah, at my college you could take like a folk arts major. You could major in the folk arts, which the only job out of that major would be to replace the old guys who are currently teaching the major. So I guess that's what like your career trajectory would be, but that would be it for the folk arts. You know what I mean? It really used to remind me of kind of like either like offshoot hippies that were a little more studious. It's like a Grateful Dead guy that was also into books, you know, who would read a lot too, would like the folk arts, or like just full book nerd guy with a pipe, like a dusty old white guy with probably like suspenders or something and kind of like an outdoorsy hat with a feather in it. You know what I'm talking about? Not a cowboy hat, but like kind of a floppy, flat brimmed hat. Really, I'm just describing my grandfather right now. That's who Bluegrass was for. And Billy Strings has managed to be so fucking cool and talented. And he also has the ability to write a song that resonates with people, man. And the Moody Center was pretty much sold out. Except for the row, I guess, that we were in. But everywhere else was packed. People were buying merch. It was a really cool thing to see that he was able to do that, you know, and get all those people there with with what is not a super popular art form. You know you're balling out when you can make something like Bluegrass popular. It was also good, you know, and I know this is like a little bit hacky of a thing to say and to bring up, but I did see it with my own eyes, so it must be brought up, is white people can dance. I saw it last night. It was cool to see white people dance. There was not a black person in the crowd except for, I think, what was like a couple confused looking security guards. But white people can dance, and you know what? The Bluegrass band doesn't even have drums. And I think that, I was thinking about it, I was like, that might be the key to white people dancing, is to take all African rhythms out of it. And then white people can like spring a jig. But you throw the drums in there, there's like a little bit of blackness in that. This is such a fucking like Chris Rock 1985 bit. You take the motherfucking drums out, and baby, crackers can dance. Yeah. Nah, I'm not. I don't know if I'm going to continue this riff. But no, you take the drums out, and then white people are free to jig as they please. And really what it looks like is a bunch of, like, kind of hobbits and leprechauns all dressed in tie-dye doing, like, kind of like Irish jigs at the Moody Center while, like, pot smoke and vape pens just kind of, like, pours up from the crowd. That's what it looks like. Almost like it's almost like the pug version of a Viking march. You know, like if Vikings sort of they would get off their ship and they'd march into battle, right? They'd land somewhere on the coast of, I don't know, let's say they go to China. Did Vikings ever go to China? Who knows? Let's say they go to North America. How about that? And they get off their ship. They start marching, you know what I mean, on land. That's kind of what it looks like, is all these white people together. But now let's imagine that Vikings had inbred themselves so much that they looked like white people now. We're sort of like the pug. That's really what guys are at this point. Is we're kind of like wolves to pugs. We're sort of like our Roman and Viking ancestors boiled down into pugs, and now we just have like wrinkly fat faces and kind of like misdirected eyes, you know, cockeyed looking, and we all have like sleep apnea and joint problems. We really are the pugs of men. That's what men are now. The pugs of men. I think women are definitely getting hotter. That's for sure. I mean, not all of them, let's be honest. We don't have to name names. Not everybody can be a model. Not all of them are up there. And not all men, but men are definitely, I feel like there's way more pugs now of men than there are Brad Pitts And I would say for women, there seems to be just an overabundance of beautiful ones and Instagram models and less pug. There's not a lot of less pugs in the women. There's not a lot of like, the classic lady. You know what I'm talking about. Like the real. Not a lot of women are in black and white anymore, if that makes sense. With full skirts, kind of missing teeth, Black and white women don't exist. If women are in full 4K HD ass jiggling shape, and they're out there. They're out there, boys, and it's dangerous. That's why you got to find a lady. You got to find a lady and lock it down. Get something consistent going, because there's a lot of trickery and a lot of robots and a lot of people you can't trust. A lot of the Instagram models is just AI. It's just artificial editing. Really, it's maybe the women aren't even out there. Maybe it's just on the phone. I'm being manipulated, or they're attempting to manipulate me and try to attract my attention. But I don't do that. I don't watch OnlyFans. I don't watch any porno anymore. I've gotten all off of that. I don't subscribe to any ladies. Dude, no woman has taken a subscription check from me unless it's the rent and she lives with me. That's my subscription fee for my girlfriend, is half the fucking rent payment, and that's what she's getting. And she deserves it because she's earned it. She's lived with me in my asshole behavior. She's done that. You know what I mean? And I'm not paying $7.99 a month out to some random chick I don't know. There's all these podcasts too. I don't even think, to be honest, it's the only fans women's fault. People like to blame the women, but it's like, dude, if they can do it, they're gonna do it. It's like the fentanyl booty, If they're gonna make it, they're gonna make it. And if it's out there, it's gonna be in the streets. You can't stop these women. You know what I mean? Someone's gonna cook it up. Someone's gonna artificially adapt to that and artificially manipulate the booty to the rhythm of music and put it behind a paywall to clean your pockets dry. These women are making $400 million a day. And you know what? It's men's fault. Stop subscribing to this shit. There's a bunch of podcasts I've seen like clips of where there's one podcast, they bring like a bunch of women, like OnlyFans chicks, and they're sort of lecturing them about how they suck. And not at one point do they look into the camera to like the incel weirdo watching it and be like, turn your fucking computer off and stop subscribing. It's your fault. These women should not have money right now, and you just keep giving it to them. It's the only reason is because we allow them to be there. Okay? They don't have real jobs. Some of these women probably don't even have degrees, and you're artificially inflating the market. You're dumping all your money into this stupid crypto, and it's never coming back to you. Nothing's coming back to you. Turn that shit off, man. It's sad and it's tragic. Keep you in front of the computer, make you addicted, and nobody wants that, man. Nobody wants to be that guy. The ladies, they don't want you. They just want your money. Doesn't matter if they're chatting with you online. You got to turn it off, and you got to go to rehab or something. We got to have a camp for guys that are addicted to OnlyFans. We got to send them out to Utah, you know what I mean, and deprive them of female interaction and female visual stimulation until an ankle turns them on again. We got to go full fucking 1800 pilgrim with these boys. We got to give them a hut out in the wilderness, make them survive through a couple winters just eating beef jerky from what they hunted. The Great Reset, man, and that you can bring them back. They need to be rehabilitated. It's an addiction, and it's a scary one, and You got to stop giving these women this power. It's creating a weird cycle where it's like making these guys hate women too. And then they're blaming all women, it seems, for what these like small group of models are doing online. And they're projecting all of that in their own insecurities onto all of the women of society. And all women are not doing this. All women are not draining your bank accounts. In fact, none of these women are showing up to your house Baltimore, Maryland style, The Wire style, kicking in your door like Omar Little and taking your cash, man. They're not doing it. You're giving it to them too easy. Christ, it's hard to watch. Even a podcast about. It's hard to see. Like I feel like women are naturally inclined to like find a man and have him do things for her. That's what they're good at. Every time I have a girlfriend, I just start doing stuff for her because they're clever. They make plans. They're cleaner than us. And they smell better. And how are you not going to listen to somebody who's better dressed and smells better than you? You are. And they have those big, dumb eyes that you cannot look at. So you're fucked. You're fucked, man. But she's got to reciprocate it and actually be there in your life for you to start handing cash out. Stupid. I don't have enough money to be doing that. And if I had a lot of money, I would just not do that. If I had a lot of money, man, I don't know, I'd buy a race car or something. I would love to drive like a NASCAR on the road. I really like soup up one of my cars. There's these assholes in Texas. They're probably all over the country. But I've noticed a staggering amount in Texas of people who just drive like assholes. And I would love to just show up in a beater car one time with a souped out engine and just race one of these motherfuckers and just haul ass and hopefully run them off the road. I can't stand those people, man. I have a shitty car. I love my car, but it is objectively shitty, and I'm hanging on to it till it dies. I don't care. I don't care how bad it is. When it goes, it goes. But it's my baby. It's like my grandparents, you know? I'm not trading my grandparents in. I don't care that their memory's going. You know? I don't care that my grandfather had prostate cancer and he survived and now he needs to wear diapers. That doesn't turn me off to him. That doesn't make me upset being there. They're my grandparents. And my car is my car. Okay? I'm driving it till I'm done with it, man. That's what a real adult does. You keep your fucking car around. I'm attached to it. But, man, I would love to show up in a beater and just burn one of these motherfuckers on the streets. I hate it, man. I hate when people drive like that because I do have it's just dangerous. And those people are the same people. That dude probably is subscribed to a bunch of OnlyFans, and his only way to like blow off steam or to feel like he's like achieving something in the world is to like put everybody's lives in danger. This shit is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, and I don't like it, man. All right, we're done with that little section. What else has been going on? Had some good shows this week. Went out to Round Rock, Rocky's Piano Bar. They do a show, I think it's every week or every other week. Pretty sure it's every week at 8:30 on Wednesday at Rocky's Piano Bar in Round Rock. And that show is the best comedy show in the area. It's at least one of them, man. I mean, it's fucking incredible. Every single time. It's free, and there's not a ton of shit going on around Rock, but it's like a normal place. It's not the middle. It's just a small area. It's not like it's the middle of bumfuck where people are like living backwards. You know what I mean? It's just that like it's a small, like kind of like suburb of Austin with its own downtown, and they have like one street with a bunch of bars, and there's always like 80 people, and they're always in the best mood. And it's a great hang, and there's no weird pressure because it's a free show. and every time it smashes. And then Brian McDuffie will get up there and just host literally for like 20 minutes up top and just really bomb half of it, and he doesn't give a fuck. He just says wild shit into the microphone, and people just says wild things, and people like don't know how to take it. And it's really fun and funny to watch because they'll just go in and out from bombing into crushing into just bombing again, just opening up with wild bits because he works at the bar and it's a free show and it doesn't matter. It's a really fun show, man. We're in there and there were these people there from like a work party. I guess they came from a work party, but they were kind of drunk and it smashed. And also like weirdly a more diverse crowd than Austin. I don't know what is going on with Austin, Texas. I guess it's just all the tech that's moved there and kind of like the Rogan thing. But it really is it's becoming a city for Republicans that do yoga. It's a specific type of person and Republican. It's really not that liberal of a city, and it's really like it's got to be 98% white people. I mean, there's definitely Latinos here too, but not like downtown where most of the comedy shows are. Like downtown is like definitely at least 80% white people, 20 something percent, which would be 100+%. So you know what I'm talking. It's mostly white people, some Latinos, and very little black people. And somehow you go out to these other parts and it's more diverse, which is it's weird to watch. And you know, you might be listening, being like, Alex, why do you care? Why do you care if it's diverse? Because it's fun to be in a crowd with a bunch of different types of people. Because there's different kind of bits you can work and different things you can say. And there's different lines to push and different strings to pull on to get laughs. You know, when it's not all just white people. When it's all white people, it's really hard to do like any racial jokes. Because you kind of need the group of people that the joke's about to be there for them to get some of this stuff. And there's like a whole aspect of comedy being lost because of that. And I enjoy jokes like that. I enjoy talking about other cultures and learning about them and making jokes about them and with those people and in those areas. And, you know, a lot of times white audiences will get the joke, but they will be super uncomfortable or won't laugh at it. And so it's nice. It's nice to have a good mix of people. Also a good mix of like class there too. You know, when the crowd gets to be all rich college kids, you kind of get to the point where some of the subjects they're just not going to fly. I would like an audience with some life experience, you know. So maybe my favorite crowds right now are like 30-plus-year-old couples because they have some seasoning on them. And a lot of times their life isn't like super awesome all the time, and they're not always in a place where they're having a blast every single day and things aren't taken care of for them. You know, they kind of understand what life is, and they've had some experiences to go on with that. And that kind of brings people down to earth. You know, a lot of times when you get in front of the really rich, good-looking college-age kids, there is this weird, awkward judgment and secondhand embarrassment where it feels like a lot of the crowds sometimes feel like they're too cool to go with you at certain subjects. And it makes it a little bit tougher. And I'm not saying that people can't do it. I'm not saying that people haven't done it. I've seen it done before. It's just tough for me, and I like going to smaller places that are really in the middle of America and see what's up with them over there. You know, those people are always in great moods, and they're really happy to see comedy when it rolls through. They don't have this, like, sort of rich kind of champagne glass, go ahead, see if you can entertain me type attitude, and you better entertain me type attitude within 15 seconds, or else I can't vibe with this. This better be exactly what I expected. And exactly what I expected was material about dating or how my shirt looks. Hopefully, the crowd work era is almost over. Hold up real quick. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. I'm going to get up. Actually, look at this. Oh, you can't look at this because I don't film this. Listen to this. This is me talking while I'm grabbing my coffee. Holy shit. And that, folks, is why you buy a long mic cord, so you can walk around the house. I think, and grab coffee and shit when you're doing your podcast. All right. Yeah. Speaking of doing comedy shows for unreasonably hot people, the funny thing I find now about hot people is I don't even really see them as they're like an option to be in my life. Like it, and I don't even find like stereotypical women who are like stereotypically attractive. They don't interest me that much. I like women with a little, they're pretty, but they have like sort of human flaws to them. So I don't even like try to even think or fantasize about being with like women that are absurdly attractive. They look like models, and they don't want me either. I'm already scratched out in their books. Little 5'5" comedian talking too much shit, doing too many bits that are embarrassing to himself and other people. So I'm out of there with my dirty little jean jacket, my Canadian tuxedo up on stage. But it is kind of funny to see them and see how they are. They just have a different shine to them, and they walk about the planet almost like they're like floating on air. I was taking tickets at this show. It's the Ha Ha Hidalgo show on Hidalgo Street that Joe Begley runs. And it's a great show, man. It's in the backyard of his buddy's house, and they seat like 100 people out there, and it always gets a ton of people at the show, and they'll have like an open bar. It's done like real collegiate, kind of high-end, almost fraternity-like fashion, where they have an open bar, and they're always in a great mood. They're a bunch of bros, and they're at 110%, which, like, I like it. I like being around it, and I support what they do. But just, like, taking the tickets of some of the outrageously hot people that were walking through, like, some of them were almost past me before I even scanned their ticket, as if they were just going to walk the fuck right in, and there was no real reason for me to check their ticket because they should have been there, they were invited, and they had the air about them that if they didn't go in there, it would have been a worse show because nobody would be able to look at their face. And I gotta be honest, maybe they were right. But I had this one chick just walk straight past me. She goes, "I know Will." I'm like, "Who is Will?" And she goes, "Listen, I know him." And she just walks by. And I'm only one guy. There's no other security. It was me standing by a table. So you're going through. I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Begley was in rare Begley form. You know what I do respect about Joe Begley is he just does it. There's no downer mood in that guy. He has one gear when he's going for it, and he's going for it. And he was just breaking out shots of Fireball, handing out drinks, and by the time I got up on that stage, it was I was wobbling a little bit. And thankfully I had, like a pretty decent set because I was looking at the crowd. And right when I got up there, I just knew I was not fully prepared because I had been taking tickets and drinking shots of Fireball and ranch waters. And thankfully it went pretty well, In respect to those people, we always assume super hot people are really prissy, but they came out in like a mist that was almost a rain, and it was wet outside. And still like 95% of those people on the list showed up and sat down outside to do the comedy show pretty much in the rain. They went for it, you know? So you can talk as much shit as you want about those ladies, but they were out there in the rain, which, in my experience, women in rain, you know, oil and water, they don't like it. Women are not ducks, okay? Women are not like ducks. Water sticks to them, and it affects them. You know what I mean? It gets in their hair gets messed up, and then they are not happy about it. You gotta, if you want to be with a lady, you gotta have something with a roof, at least. You gotta have a roof. You gotta have a place where she can go where things aren't wet. It's crucial. Maybe a man could sleep outside, you know? Pretend you're in the Marines or something. Pretend it's the Civil War. You know who you are. Yes, you do. You know who you are. Pretend it's the Civil War or something like that. But a lady's got to have a roof, all right? And maybe some walls, too. Then while you're at it, you got walls. Why not something to sit on or something to eat off of? You know what I'm talking about? You know who doesn't need a roof because she's not in your life? Those OnlyFans chicks. Yeah, let's keep talking about that. I really want to just pound that into people's heads. You know, guys aren't super open about that, but if you're addicted to that stuff, you got to get off. These women are not your friends and they don't love you. They're just taking your cash, man. The worst kind of drug dealers. You know, at least a drug dealer hands you something, gives you something back that makes music sound a lot better and makes you excited for no reason whatsoever. But those ladies, man, there's nothing there. You got to cut it out. All right, everybody. On that super lovely and positive note, I think that's the podcast for this week. I'm going to start doing these like twice a week, and I've been working on setting up like a Patreon or something. You know what I mean? So if you want to subscribe and whatnot, you can get an extra episode. Just, like, subscribe, get out of here, go outside, smell the grass, touch the air. You know what I'm talking about. See you later.